Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. You may notice that I changed my VTuber. The first one I made, which was my old one, was the first one I had ever made. And I mean, okay, I swear the second I start recording, things start going wrong with the model. Why is only one eye blinking? Anyways, this guy's probably gonna be a little buggy for a little bit as I get used to the settings with the new parameters and everything. But yeah, I really like it, and I think she's here to stay. So I can't guarantee that it's never going to change again because I am terrible and I cannot keep things the same. I constantly have to keep changing them, which, isn't the best for running a YouTube channel. Yeah, consistency is key, some may say, and I am the least consistent person ever, as you can tell by my upload schedule. But anyways, back to the actual reason why we're all here, the video. So I recorded this beforehand, so I'm going to be doing, what is the eye doing? See my face. Hello. Everything's fine. Anyways, so I recorded this separately and I'm just going to do a voiceover. And just going to preface this today, we are going to be going over how to do basic parallax mapping without any plugins. That means it's, not going to be the best. And I put little to no effort into any of the assets that I use in this video. So please don't take the really, really crappy wagon I make as any sign of my ability to do any sort of pixel art. I literally put no effort into it. But it was just kind of this is more of a proof of concept than like an actual map that you would want to create. So yeah, without any more rambling from me, let's dive on in. All right, so welcome to the actual meat of the video. So to start with parallax mapping, what you want to do to start is create the map. Okay, before I dive full on into this, just want to preface this with, this is my style. I have a very particular way that I like doing things. And thus, this could be a lot different from how you find works best for you and everything. But how I do to start is I create a map where in the default engine, using default assets, I create a map showing me basically the basic place where everything is going to be. That way, when I bring it into a editor later, I get to see exactly where everything is laid out. And did I literally just start this and then sit here for hours? I did. Yeah, I've recorded this part, the parallax mapping, a couple days ago. As you can see from the timestamp. I have been busy doing things like making another VTuber because that was important. But anyways, ignoring that, I'm just kind of, what I'm doing here is just trying to get an outline. Like I said, deciding where everything's going to go, what it's going to look like. So I'm basically creating the map here. Now, what I do is not ideally what you would want to do for legitimate parallax mapping. Is I just literally just copy paste a tiled map and move a couple things around to show proof of concept. But with what you would want to do is you would want to completely paint and replace everything that you see here. So I'm just going to kind of speed through this section. It's not that important. I spend way too long on it. All right. So now what I do, or actually, let me go backwards a little bit. Once I finish building this, I do the thing. So what I do in order to get this into an editing program is you don't want to screenshot it because that could change the size of it. And you want the exact size of your map to be what you use to create your parallax map. So even if you weren't planning to do this whole tile thing and then transfer it over, you'd still want to save a blank map, the map you're going to use, to the correct size, just so you can get the size for your parallax map down. So what you do is you right click on parallax or your map, sorry, I named parallax, and you scroll down to the very bottom, it'll say save map. And I just saved it to my desktop because it's easy access. Oh goodness, I'm sorry. I think, yeah, save as image, not save map. So save as image, and then I use GIMP, as you all probably know, because I use it a lot in here. But I load up that map, and then I get the grid going, the 48 by 48 grid, because that is the default size of tiles in RPG Maker. They did add an update where you can change the tile size you are using, but I like sticking with 48 by 48 because that's the biggest you can do, and it's the most detail you can get into it. So I sit here for a while, trying to decide what the heck I want to do to show my proof of concept. But what you would want to do if you were actually legitimately attempting to make a parallax map and not just half-hearten it, is you would want to completely change everything. You would probably want to cut out that house and stuff. Here, what I'm doing is I am pulling up all of the tile sets because I didn't feel like actually pixel arting. And if you can't pixel art, a really good way if you're planning on parallax mapping is to take assets either from RPG Maker or you find free online or even paid, and then just copy pasting them onto a map. The point of parallax mapping is to make a map that doesn't follow the very strict grid guidelines that RPG Maker has. The only problem with that is that your players walk on that grid. The events line up with that grid. So if you have a doorway with an animated door, it has to line up perfectly with that grid. If you want the player to be able to walk behind something, it has to line up with that grid. Unless, of course, you are using a plugin, which does make this slightly different. Like if you're using the Doodads plugin by Yanfly, I had that for MV. I absolutely adored it. I overused it to the point that my old computer, which I got in, oh goodness, when did I get that computer? I think I got it in like 2014. I used that thing until it literally wouldn't turn on anymore. It was an actual like gaming laptop, not my one I have now. But anyways, yeah, Doodads are amazing. And if you want to buy any plugin from Visustella, and if you're only planning on getting one, I recommend the Doodads plugin. Top 10 plugin, my favorite plugin of all time. I keep forgetting that I have a VTuber going and I'm just completely not looking at the camera. It's probably doing some really goofy things right now. But anyways, yeah, right now what I'm doing, back on topic, is creating a diagonal path. I'm half-heartedly creating a diagonal path. I wasn't 100% certain what I was going to do at this point, so I was just kind of doing whatever. But yeah, another big part, of course, parallax mapping is being able to do diagonal paths that aren't square. I feel like that's even a bigger part of diagonal mapping, is to get away from the squareness. Sure, you can make round walls and put them in a tile set and use those in your game, but with parallax mapping, you can just plop them down and not have to worry about them matching up or anything like that. This is kind of handy dandy. I have never fully done a parallax map in the game. I've always done a hybrid where the basics are made into a tile set. I've lost it. It's on a flash drive somewhere. The first game I've ever made and got any progress on in RPG Maker was a mixture of parallax mapping techniques and tile sets. So I did the basic shapes with the tile sets, and then I went in, this was made in MV, I went in with the Doodads program and went to frickin' town with all the extras. But little details like this are a huge part of parallax mapping. There's little like divots in the ground caused by the wagon wheels constantly going over in the same spot. That's something that would be kind of a big pain in the butt to do in basic tile sets. Right now, I'm making that wagon I talked about in the very beginning. My very, very crappy wagon that I spent way too long putting details on and it actually attempting to make look balanced and nice. I don't know why. I didn't even color it properly. I just filled it in. But here we are. So with that wagon, I would just like to point out that this was using no plugins, and I do kind of go into my hybrid techniques with this one. Which it comes up later. You'll see it, and I'll point it out. Instead of just using pure parallax mapping, which is to, I suppose, each their own. If you're 100% completely serious about parallax mapping, please get a plugin. Because doing a 100% parallax mapped game without a plugin would be a glitchy nightmare. And kudos to you if you can make it work, but I do not recommend it. Various plugins. I've actually never looked into plugins for parallax mapping. I know for MZ, whatever it is. I know Echo put out a video, I think, about parallax mapping in MZ, and I'm sure you can find plenty of videos online about it for plugins, which is, was what I do when I have a problem. I go to Google and I'm like, okay, good plugin. I don't even put good. I put RPG Maker MZ parallax mapping plugins is what I would search on Google and just see what pops up. What I'm doing right now is getting way into the lighting because this was like a half-hearted attempt. I put no real effort into this except for the freaking lighting. So what I'm trying to do right here is to create the lighting being cast from the doorway and the windows. So the way light works is that it spills out from that opening, but because of the doorway, it can't go any farther that way, but it would still get bigger the farther it gets away, like a flashlight beam, basically, which is what I always try to do when I'm creating light, is to picture it like a flashlight beam. Yeah, I'm actually going to skip ahead once I figure this. No, I'm just going to skip ahead now because I spend 5, 6. I spend like a good 7 minutes on that. So here what I'm doing is adding an overlay for lighting. This is something that even if you're doing strictly tile sets, please add to your game. It makes such a difference. Is it playing or did I hit pause? It's playing. So overlays are what they sound like. There's something that lays over the top of your map. Ignore that. I was trying to make it look dark outside because that's why the lights from the house are so bright. But if it's snowing, add a soft blue light over the house, and then the dark, the dark in the corner. If it is nighttime, a slightly darker blue light, or if it's a full moon, which is kind of the vibe I was going for here, have it start from the corner and just come down, and it's like God rays, if you know what those are, which it's like the rate when you know on a cloudy day when there's a break in the cloud and the sunlight goes through and you can see the strict lines of sun coming down. It's like that, but a lot softer. But the trick to a good overlay is having a shadow corner. So whatever corner you have the light source coming from, add shadow in the opposite corner. And it'll really make that light just pop. And like, look how much different it made that map look. Like, it makes it look like it's nighttime. And it's just such a little detail, but it makes such a difference. Moving on from overlays, what I was originally going to do here, and something I can talk about, is you can tile that house. You can go into a imaging editing program and act like you are full on going to Parallax map, and then you can turn what those things you created in the Parallax map into tiles. Sometimes you'll see houses, like I know Panda Mario has certain things that are like houses and smitheries and stuff that's basically made via a parallax mapping, I'm using air quotes here, method. And then you can just plop it into a tile set and go to town. Mind you, what you would have to do is create 1,000 different tile sets, each with the individual different tiles that you would want to use, and just switch between them as you use them. But that means that you wouldn't be able to use them all on one giant map, which would be the drawback to that. However, you could turn the B through E tile sections into these buildings and out structures and stuff like that. So, if you're that's truly what you want to do it. Full send. No hesitation. Because you could get something really cool out of that. What I'm starting to do now is I'm exporting everything into the project. So I'm exporting the overlay into the pictures folder of my project folder. This is me trying to decide exactly how I want to do it. So what I do here only works because I have a map the exact same size as the screen, what I do with the lights on the house. Otherwise, it would not have worked as well as it did. But I hit the wrong button there. Still exporting everything. I should have sped this up. I really should have. All right, so I put the exclamation point on there, so the map will stay in place and will not move with the player. And now what I'm trying to do is to remove all the tiles that I had there before. And now you see the map, and what I'm going to do here is use blank tiles to show areas that the players can and cannot walk. I've gone over this 1,000 times before. But you'll see I have some trouble with the wagging because it's not perfectly on the tiles I want it to be. So I put my player in and I go and walk around, and it works pretty Oh, I'm adding the overlay. Okay, yes, so you want to go and show picture. Show your 2 pictures. I just have them set to normal because I did all the fancy stuff there. You can have them show in the same one. That was just my choice. I make sure the window light is set to the right place. And then I load the game. And then I realized I had the window light and the overlay set to the same picture number. So that didn't work. So I changed one of them to 2, making it have a higher priority, and show above. Here I'm just making sure that there is a empty one, so we're not constantly seeing X's and O's. All right, see? Now when I'm walking around, I can walk under the light from the windows and the door. And, you know, it's kind of aesthetic. And then I'm like, uh-oh, I can walk on top of this wagon. I should not be able to walk on top of this wagon. So that is when the hybrid comes in. So I go back to GIMP and I pull up that tile set because I'm going to move the wagon onto that tile set. So no, I find the tiles and I copy a layer that is as big as those tiles are. So that way, when I move it into this editor, it will still show up once I place it in the exact same place that it already exists. So I go in there, I set all the tiles to where I want them to be, and then I go and I place that in the game, and it fits in the exact same spot perfectly. So I go back in, and I make sure I'm on the right map to start, and I go back in. And now I can walk behind the wagon. There was this weird glitch where it wasn't letting me walk past a certain area. Honestly, I have absolutely no idea what that was about. I really don't. It just wouldn't let me walk the certain path. But you can still see when I hold down control, it still shows what I was trying to do. And that is kind of the merger that I did between Parallax and tile sets, because that is how I made it so I can walk behind something. So yeah, oh my gosh, why I don't know why I get it's the right eye is so extra sensitive, but you know, we're vibing with it. But yeah, that is the kind of merger between Parallax and regular mapping. I guess not regular and tile mapping is that. I'm currently pulling up the. Yeah, I have no idea why that was being so glitchy. Yeah, I guess it doesn't matter. I don't need to pull it up. But yeah, that about covers it all for basic, no plugin parallax mapping. I know it was a little rambly and, you know, it's late. I put this off in order to finish this VTuber, which, you know, I am happy with. I really like how it turned out. There's still a little bugs as the eye twitches to sort out. I honestly, okay, I don't really think it's a model problem. Here, hold on, I'm zooming in. I think I'm just using my laptop camera to capture all of this, and I have very, very heavy inset, tiny squinty eyes. And so I feel like that combined with a really bad camera and the fact that my light source is coming from the wrong side, oops, is really just kind of screwing me. Here, I turned on another light source. Let's see, it's a really dim light source, but you know, let's see if it makes a difference. Okay, yeah, it was my light source. That was the issue. Still kind of twitched there, but anyways, I've gotten so distracted. Thank you all so much for watching the video, and if you made it this far, I am genuinely impressed. I am just straight rambling at this point, but I hope you enjoy the rest of your day anyways. Bye!